Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today I want to look at a really nice synergy between the Berserker's effect and the Conductor's effect. So if you're playing without any kind of damage resistance at all, Dodgy is actually a pretty helpful perk. It'll avoid 30% of incoming damage, but it does take 30 action points every time that happens. And if you're playing as a VATS character and you're facing a number of enemies that are all hitting you at once, it can be a bit of a problem. You're trying to play VATS and all of a sudden all your AP is gone. So the Conductor's effect can actually solve a few problems playing as a Berserker. So with the Conductor's effect, critical hits restore 5% of health and action points. And because it's a 4th star, I can actually put it on a weapon that has the Berserker's effect as well. So this Vampire's Handmaid is actually something I used as a Berserker a lot. There was just some situations where you want survival and you're not getting that with the Berserker's weapon, so I switch over to the Vampire. The problem with that is you are giving up the damage bonus you get from Berserkers, and that's one of the reasons you want to play, right? If you're not going to get the damage bonus, why am I sacrificing my damage resistance? So the ability to put the Conductor's effect on top of a Berserker's weapon means I get my damage bonus and I get my healing all at once. And just a note, I am recording this on the public test server rather than the live game because at the time of recording, the Conductor's effect is still not working properly in the live version of the game. So currently on the public test server, there is an issue with the fixer display damage. It's actually showing the damage as if this was a combat rifle, but the damage it's doing is actually fixer damage. So that is just a display issue, but the damage we'll get will actually be the correct amount. So my thoughts on this is that the Conductor's effect, not only will it keep us alive, but the AP we get from critical hits should be enough to keep our AP, I don't know about topped up, but it should be enough to keep us in VATS, even if the Dodgy effect is triggering. You can see the AP cost on the weapon is only 3, so most of the AP usage will come from Dodgy rather than from the weapon. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it should work pretty well. So here are the legendary perks. I have What Rads, I have 3 legendary specials, and I have taken one for the team. Unfortunately, you need a teammate for that to work, so I'm only going to be by myself in this in the video, so taking one for the team isn't actually going to do anything for us. So here's the build. This is on the public test server, obviously, so some of these perks haven't made it to live at the time I'm recording this. Mainly the changes to the Gorilla and Gunslinger perks. And of course, this is a critical build because we'll be relying on those for healing and AP regen, so we might as well do them as frequently as possible and get as much damage as we can. With my luck the way it is, I'll be doing a critical hit every 3rd shot. So we have Company T, give us a little bit of AP regen outside of VATS. Sweet Mute for T for extra critical damage. Then I've got extra AP from Cook Softshell, extra endurance from Himmikin, that's an important one. Extra agility from Squirrel on a Stick, and perfect bubblegum, just because I'm so in habit of doing that from using overeaters, but of course I have no armor. You can see I've got all of my armor unequipped, and so the Berserker's effect, the way it works, it actually only counts damage resistance. It doesn't worry about energy, poison, cryo, radiation resistance, so you can have those as high as you want. As long as your damage resistance is at 0, you're gonna get that maximum bonus. And the carry weight, that's just, ignore that. This is a custom server, so that doesn't mean anything at all. So let's start off with an easy situation and just kind of work our way up just to see how good this is. Obviously, critting every 3rd shot, definitely not as helpful as critting every other shot, but it's kind of hard to get your luck up high enough where it needs to be without any buffs from armor at all. So shooting us a little bit, yeah, it's not much. One enemy's not that much, but you can see the Conductor's effect, even with every 3rd shot, we're still doing pretty good. Oh, and those numbers on the bottom of the screen, that's just, yeah, for the most part, those are meaningless. I don't know what it's supposed to indicate, but that's still a work in progress, apparently. So let's get in the middle of this, take a few shots, and see. All right, that's good. So yeah, you can see our health comes right back, and our AP is still staying, even though Dodgy is obviously going to be triggering a lot. We're still able to keep our AP in a, yeah, basically topped up, which is pretty nice. So for just super mutants, Conductors plus Berserkers, I mean, the Berserker's effect is fine. It's mostly the Conductor's effect that's keeping us alive. But yeah, our, no trouble staying in VATS. No trouble at all. Nice. All right, let's see how we can do against some robots. I think they tend to be a little more accurate than a super mutant. So in theory, I'll get hit more. And some of these can actually hit pretty hard. But yeah, so far. I think for the most part, one enemy at a time is not going to be much of an issue, at least for regular enemies. Obviously, you get the big ones, which we will check out. Okay, yeah, our health can get hit. I mean, it can actually go down pretty quickly. So it is something we have to stay on top of with this, but, and I do have Born Survivor equipped, so if all else fails, which, you know, it might, all else could fail. There we go. This sentry bots can actually, they can actually do quite a lot of damage. But if I can, yeah, keep doing those critical hits and my AP and my, okay. And that's what happens. That's what happens when you stop doing the shots. Wow, I got staggered is the problem. So yeah, getting staggered is an issue with something like this because I don't have a lot of leeway because so much damage can get me all at once if I stop shooting. Getting staggered, which takes me out of it, can actually be a problem, which means it might actually be worth running. Well, I was gonna say it might be running pneumatic, but I can't because I have no armor. So yeah, I'm just kind of, I just have to be careful with the staggering part. That's there, because there's nothing you could do. There's no perk that reduces staggering. I know there's a camp ally you can get that will give you a bonus to reduce staggering, but it only lasts an hour and you can only use it once a day. So it's kind of limited in its usefulness. So I think playing in first person can actually help with that. It does seem like third person you get staggered more, but I do like playing in third person. So it's just something I have to live with, the occasional random weird death, I guess. I do think one of the ghoul perks, actually gives you, I don't know if it's immunity or reduction or, you know, like resistance to staggering, but unfortunately it is only playable, you know, it's only for ghouls. So if you don't want to play that way, and I don't plan to change this character, so probably not useful, but I would like to see a, you know, some sort of perk or something to do, because the staggering mechanic as it stands right now is kind of frustrating, I think. It feels like you get staggered way too easily, and there's not really anything you can do about it, which is the most frustrating part. Even in power armor, you could still get staggered from, you know, just a Scorch running up and slapping you. Yeah, it's this one, Brick Wall. It's a strength perk, but it is only for ghouls. So yeah, you can actually become immune to staggering, but only for ghouls. Yeah, Mirelurk is a Mirelurk Queen is another one. If it staggers me, I could be in trouble because they could do a lot of damage. So let's get rid of this. I hear another one down there somewhere. There it is. Get rid of him and deal with her as best we can. Now with her basically staying in vats, and I actually thought about using quad. You know, you'll stay in vats longer, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of playing as a Berserker. You want the damage bonus. Otherwise, if I'm just going to use quad and vampire and things like that. Okay, here we go. Got my camera all turned around and get some critical hits. Kind of a tough spot to fight here. I could get up high and do that, but that would just make things too easy, wouldn't it? All right, so I just fought a Scorch Beast, but it didn't actually attack me at all, so it wasn't much of a test. So we're going to try again with maybe more than one Scorch Beast, since we're here at Fisher Prime. There we go, we want more than one. It may not go well, but if it's not going to attack me, yeah, I never got one sonic attack, so I have no, on that other fight, so I have no way to know how that would go. I mean, the sonic attack could actually be quite damaging, and I'm not... Okay, there was a little bit of lag there. It wasn't taking any... All right, so they're still not really attacking. I mean, you can lunge at you, which is a stagger, which we know staggers can be a problem. Especially if you're in the middle of it. Come on, if you're in the middle of a reload, you have to do the reload all over again. Yeah, that sonic attack, pretty bad. So these Scorch are actually pretty helpful, getting my... using those critical hits to heal me up. All right, so, oh, okay. There's no immunity to falling in a fissure site. There we go, this one's legendary. So it should have a lot of, okay. A lot of health. Yeah, if I was actually using quad, this would be much easier, but then I wouldn't be getting the bonus from Berserkers, and if I'm not gonna get that Berserkers bonus, I might as well just play normal and wear armor and whatever. So, yeah, a little bit of damage. But so far, I mean, so far the Conductor's effect, if you can keep shooting, it looks like you can kind of withstand, I don't know about anything, because I do want to try one situation. I think it's going to actually be a massive fail, but I want to try it anyway, and that is the Guardian in the raid. I think that does too much damage. I don't think I could even stay alive with that one, but I definitely want to try it just for entertainment, at least to amuse myself. There's a Scorched. Hitting me with his hand, I'm not really worried about that. I mean, Blocker does a really good job of dealing with melee attackers in general. It's just the range stuff and the bosses that I have to worry about, and so far, I mean, other than, you know, so just one death, which isn't too bad. All right, here we go. We're gonna test against the Guardian. I actually expect this to go very badly. I don't think it's gonna work very well. I do think that if I was on a team where there'd be more than one target, it's possible you could actually make this work okay, but being the only target, he's not gonna try and shoot anything else, so I'm probably just gonna get wrecked right away. But I do think this is something you could use in raids on a team. Now, that's probably something I shouldn't do. I probably shouldn't shoot before he's shooting, because then I'm out of AP, and, okay, yeah, as long as I'm shooting, I'm okay, but as soon as I stop shooting, his damage is just too big, and that just doesn't work. So, no surprise there, but I had to give it a go. So overall, I do think Conductors and Berserkers synergize really well together. And for the most part, you should be really hard to kill, with the exception of the occasional stagger at the wrong time. Now, as far as raids go, yeah, that's a little bit of a tougher situation. That may be one where you want to switch out to, say, a quad instead of Berserkers, just so you can stay in VATS longer to keep up your survivability. Probably not something you want to try solo either. Overall, I do think it is a really cool combination. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.